Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to my channel. I am Shanti and this video is about sharing some thoughts about building my personal library. Now this is a topic that I don't have concrete ideas on, meaning that I do have a lot of ideas, but to be able to express them in a way that is understandable to whoever is listening or consuming, that is something that I am not satisfied with. But I still wanted to make it anyway because it has been on my mind for so long, and I thought that maybe through making this video, I will gain better clarity for myself as well as you may get some ideas, even if they are not very concrete, right? So, the idea for like how do I wish to proceed is I've decided that I will share some books that I bought or I was gifted in the last 6 to 7 months. And why the last 6 to 7 months is because I think during this time this has been the defining time where I was able to get a clearer vision as to what to expect from my personal library. So, what do I expect for now is that I need to have a variety of books which should feel like I am having a variety of topics or people that I can talk with whenever I want to talk about that particular topic. So, it is about the availability of mindful, conscious topics, not just anything and everything. So, I've been very conscious about the books that I have bought. I've not just bought them just like that because it's nice. I didn't buy it very instinctively, impulsively. So, yes, the first set of books is The Shallows and Emma by Jane Austen. So, these two books I've grouped together simply because I have read them before in a different format. So, this I've read in an audiobook format, whereas this I've read in a ebook format. Now, the reason I bought them in the hard copy format is this is a book that has been very influential for me, and I wanted to buy a proper hard copy so that I can underline, make notes, properly, consume this content better. So that's the reason I bought that. And this book is sort of like my nighttime read, you can say. Uh, Nighttime, I prefer reading stories which I have already read and which are not very sensational. They are very, slow and easygoing and comforting. So Jane Austen's novels, for me at least, they do that. They're very comforting, and I read them whenever I want to just slow down or something like that. So the next set of books is, so this is, you can say, mental health or spiritual or just to calm down, but they are all, one is fiction as well. So this book is Inner Work. Now this is something like the caption is using dreams and active imagination for personal growth. So I never imagined that personal growth was a topic that has been there for so many years. This was published in the 1980s, the exact year I don't remember. But, and I thought, since it is such an old book, it must have a lot of insights. So, yes, that's why I bought this. Then, Cultivating the Mind of Love. So, I've always been a big fan of Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings. So, I bought a hard copy of it. And then The Journey. I think I've made a video of this if you've not watched it before. Then this book is something that I gifted to myself for New Year. And I must say it was really good and a new experience. And I wish to read it again to see if I can, perceive it in a different light. And next, I have a set of memoirs. So this is the book The Cure for Hate. This is actually my mom's. So once she completed reading, I took it because I found it interesting. So this is a former white supremacist's journey from violent extremism to radical compassion by Tony McAleer. So this is something that is interesting. I'm looking forward to read it. And this is Spare by Prince Harry. So this is a very interesting, premise for me. A glimpse into the royal family, because it is interesting for me because when you have this image to keep up, then there's a lot of things that you need to keep suppressed inside. So how does that, over the generations, how does that accumulate into trauma? I think that's the reason I wanted to read this, but I've not read it yet. In fact, I don't think this is 6 months ago. I think this is quite old, but uh, so the bookmark is here. So I've only read this. This many number of pages are left. So I'm taking my time with this. And next, I have this lone book, The Last Lecture by Randy Posh. Don't know the correct pronunciation, but this is a book that I found in a second-hand store. So the reason I bought it is, I think he is a engineering professor. I don't remember, but he is diagnosed with a terminal disease, and if he has to give a last lecture, then what would that be? So a lot of professors, I'll just read it so that you get an idea. If you don't want, you can just skip this part. A lot of professors give talks titled The Last Lecture. Professors asked to consider their demise and to ruminate on what matters most to them, and while they speak, audiences can't help but mull the same question. What wisdom would we impart to the world if we knew it was our last chance? If we had to vanish tomorrow, what would we want as our legacy? So when Randy Posh, a computer science professor at Carnegie Mellon, was asked to give such a lecture, he didn't have to imagine it as his last, since he had recently been diagnosed with terminal cancer. But the lecture he gave, within quotations, really achieving your childhood dreams, wasn't about dying. It was about the importance of overcoming obstacles, of enabling the dreams of others, of seizing every moment. Because time is all you have, and you may find one day that you have less than you think. It was a summation of everything Randy had come to believe. It was about living. In this book, Randy Posh has combined the humor, inspiration, and intelligence that made his lecture such a phenomena and given it an indelible form. It is a book that will be shared for generations to come. So, this is a book that I don't know when it was published, but this is something that I've not, this is how you find it is published in 2008. So, this is something that you will find in, gems that you will find in old bookstores. So, in fact, I don't think I am satisfied with just how much I've explored the old bookstores, especially since I'm living in Delhi. This is something that I am not happy with. I want to explore these secondhand bookstores more and more. And depending on the region as well, like this is a bookstore in East Delhi, and in South Delhi, it'll be something different, and in North Delhi, something else. So, depending on the region as well, you have a variety of collection. So maybe this is a reminder for me to explore these bookstores more and more. And next set we have, this is sort of like intellectual topics that you can say. So this one is The Epigenetics Revolution. Now the reason I bought this book is because epigenetics is primarily for me as an interest, is it is about understanding the environment in which we live in, how it will affect our genes. Or like for example, let's say that your parents have diabetes, then it doesn't really mean that you will get diabetes. So genes are like, okay, you have that tendency of becoming diabetic, but unless you pull the trigger, it's not going to get activated. So this is something that I have seen on social media a lot of times. And this book, I believe, will have more answers. So that's why I bought this book. I've still not read it, by the way. It's just a lot of these books I have not completed. And I am not, I am proud of it that I've not completed it. Previously, I would feel very bad that I have so many unread books. But these days, I'm like, that's good. I am reading, I've read maybe 20-30 pages of it, and I've got some information, and it's okay. For now, this is the information I need. After a while, I will read it again, right? I will restart it, or I will just start off from where I left it. So this is exciting for me. Whenever I want to read about Epigenetics again, I know that the book is ready. So I'm happy about that. And this book is The Coming Wave. So this is a book that I have not at all read, and it is one of the most recent buys. So this is a book that I bought because someone recommended it on a LinkedIn post. So I wanted to try that. And to explain the world, this is again a very interesting premise. So this guy is a Nobel Prize winning physicist. So I'll just read out the contents, which is what made me buy this book. So part 1, Greek physics, matter and poetry, chapter 1. 2, music and mathematics. 3, motion and philosophy. 4, Hellenistic physics and technology. 5, ancient science and religion. Part 2, Greek astronomy. So I'll not read the chapters of each part, I'll just read the parts. So part 1 is Greek physics, part 2 is Greek astronomy, part 3 the Middle Ages, part 4 the scientific revolution. Okay, so this is sort of like the complete journey of science that we have. That's what was interesting for me. So it is visible. Okay, so this is the contents, and because it is written by a Nobel laureate, I am even more interested in it. And this book also, I actually found it not very easy to read at this moment. So I read 10 pages and my bookmark is here. So I'll probably reread it once again when I have enough energy and time that I can put for it. Then we have Skin in the Game by Taleb. So I love Nicholas Nassim Taleb. I've read his book Anti-Fragile and I am hugely influenced by him, and that is the reason I bought this book. But I did not get to read this. I actually bought it on impulse. This is an impulse buy. But I'm still happy. I'm not very upset about it because I know that one day I will still read it. So there are some authors who are my influences and I never ever regret buying them because I know that I will eventually get to them. Okay, so next we have some Eastern literature. So what happened is I bought a book called Days at the Morisaki bookshop. I think it is available for free on Audible. I don't remember, but I read the book at a time when I was looking for a fiction which is not for children, adults only, but should be very easygoing sort of. And I really loved it. And I thought that, I think the Eastern literature is something that I have to try because I've always read fiction from majorly from Europe and some from America. Eastern, no, not at all. So I thought, I should try. So that is the result. Now, this book is The Traveling Cat Chronicles. This is a book that is recommended by The Cottage Fairy, one of my favorite content creators. And this is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, the series, and I did not buy it. So my mom, found it at metro station, and I don't know, she thought I would enjoy it. And how coincidental is that I have just decided that I will read more Asian literature, and my mom just bought me the entire set. So feels like Harry Potter all over again. So she bought me the entire set for one of my birthdays because I was crazy about it. Next, so this is very short introduction series. I was really fascinated by this. See, very short book on different topics. So I went through all of the series that are available in this, like all of the topics that are available in this series, and I selected about 20-30 of them, and finally I bought 4 of them. 4 of the books which I felt would be most relevant at this point of time, more interesting. So one is Engineering, a very short introduction. I'm very interested in this. I have read a few pages, about 16 pages, and it has been interesting till now. Next is Big Data, next the Renaissance, and finally Empire. So these are the four books that I have bought, and there is another book that I've bought on Kindle. These are all different cost. So depending on the cost also I have made some decisions. So one of the books, biochemistry, is something that is more affordable on Kindle. So I bought it on Kindle. And then we have these are not related really, but this is one book called Career and Family, and this is We Are What We Eat. So this is, the author is the winner of Nobel Prize. Now this is a book that was gifted to me, and I am so grateful for this book, because this sort of introduced me into the kind of work that is happening, taking into consideration women's work, especially domestic work, and what it feels for a woman to be able to balance or maybe choose between career and family. So this is something that I'm reading very slowly but steadily, and it's really, really good. Next, but it's sort of like, it's not an easy read, like uh, it's just I don't think she's a very good writer, no offense, but to be able to express it very briefly, that is something that is missing in this book, I think, my personal opinion. Then we have We Are What We Eat. So this is a book also that I'm reading quite slowly, and yes, this is also the book that I bought after seeing the contents. So if you've seen one of my previous videos, I've already shared it. So we think that, see the contents: fast food culture and slow food culture. So it is about culture. It's not possible to let go of junk food just by thinking I should not have them, or by controlling your willpower, using your willpower. It's not really possible. You have to understand the mechanisms by which this is happening. So in fast food culture, we have convenience, uniformity, availability, trust in advertising, cheapness, more is better, speed. So all of these are things that we have to be wary of, like more is better. So we think that just because we are getting something for free, or maybe we are getting 90% off as an offer, starting offer, that doesn't mean that it's actually something that we need, right? But that is a way of pushing the products into our houses. So, and we have convenience. So each time we pick up the mobile and we order food, see, I also order food. It's not like we have to completely let go, but to understand that this is the way in which we are being controlled and manipulated, that will greatly reduce the amount of times that we fall victim for. Like I have recently, maybe I've bought once or twice in this entire year, starting 2024. So I'm recording this video in March first week. So I can see the difference. I am falling less and less victim to all of this, consumerism culture. And then we have slow food culture, beauty and biodiversity, seasonality, right? So we don't want mangoes all through the year. It is nice only in summer, right? Then stewardship, pleasure in work, simplicity, interconnectedness. So this is, I've not yet gone till there, but the very idea of, like, let's say interconnectedness, it gives you this feeling that everything is connected, and we have to be honorable to this connection that we have towards nature. When we pollute a lot, or when we throw away garbage without any intention, or we waste food, then this is something that we become more conscious of, right? So yes, this is a book that I believe everyone should read at this point in time. Like, I think we are going through a very huge consumerism culture, so it is a very good book in helping you with that. And next, I have a couple of productivity or management books, you can say. So the first one is Power, and the second one is Time Boxing, the power of doing one thing at a time. And this is Power, why some people have it and others don't. So these two books, I've read a bit of it and I am not really liking it. but okay, it's good. There are some good points as well. But this book is, I've only read a few pages still. This is very good. I think this is going to be a sort of revolution in your work if you are going to read it and implement some of these things. But I've not read the entire book, so don't take my entire word for it. You can try it, it's just an idea. So this is management books. And I have some Kindle and audiobooks also that I wanted to share. So on Kindle I have Wisdom of Anxiety and The Art of Rest. So these two books are not very similar, but they are pretty, like, they give you the same sense. Like Wisdom of Anxiety I read whenever I feel too anxious, and I read it and I feel very calm. Like the way it is written, it's very calming. And The Art of Rest is also like a little similar. If what are the kinds of rest that you take, that is something that is given. And next we have Conscious Movement, the Key to Releasing Pain. So this is a book that has been quite useful for me, but I've not yet completed it, so I cannot give a full-fledged review. But till the point that I've read, I found it pretty good. And finally, I have another memoir here of Matthew Perry's. So The Friends Guide, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. So this is a book that I bought when the news of him dying came. So you can say it was an impulsive buy, but actually I had been planning on buying that book for a very long time. So when he died, I just couldn't. I had to read it. So I did not complete the book, but till the point that I have written, I believe that it's a book that is very powerful. And for someone who is so famous, to be able to express the kind of things that probably led to, probably no that led to the kind of addictions and trauma that he has. When such a person speaks up, it creates normalization, and it will help other people, normal, like regular people, to get the courage to take it into consideration. So that's why it's very powerful. And for the same reason, Spare is powerful. You should try to read it if you are not very if you are angry with someone like him, then it's okay, you don't have to read it. And on Audible, I have one book called I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. So this is a book that I don't think it is very useful for me, but I think this is a book, it's actually useful. It's just that I did not read it at the beginning of my mental health journey. So this is a book which I believe people should read at the beginning of their mental health journey. So if you're starting out, trying to figure out this healing process and everything, then this book is a good start. Then I have some books, Liminal Thinking and Evolve Your Brain by Joe Dispenza. Evolve Your Brain by Joe Dispenza is particularly good. And Liminal Thinking I've just started, so cannot judge it right now. Finding Flow, this is one of the best books that I've read, and he's probably my influencer now. Then we have 1 Year to an Organized Life. So this is also, if you have seen Marie Kondo, the kind of work that she does, and if you've read her book, then if you've enjoyed it, then you should also read this book, 1 Year to an Organized Life. Because see, it's not that organizing has only one approach to it. When you read different approaches, you will probably realize what are the approaches that you are comfortable with. So it'll just make it better, the ease with which you can become clutter free or become more organized. And next I have The Cottage Fairy Companion. What do I say about this book? See, she is my influencer, so I cannot say if all of you will like it, but it's still a very good book, and especially since I've read it in the audiobook format. Her voice, she herself read it, Paula Merrill, and it is really, really good. If you are you're an anxious person, you are struggling through anxiety, then this is a very, very good book, because her voice is very calming. The topics that she says are very, very calming. So it is, I believe, a must read if you're going through an anxious phase. And next, of course, I have The Days at the Morisaki bookshop. It was a very good read, and the narration was also very good on Audible. And finally, I have The 12-Week Cure. So, this is a book that probably was very influential for me. I've read it like 4 to 5 months ago, and it has been very influential. It just changed the way that I look at goal setting and targets now. So, I don't know if it is useful for everybody, but yes, it is a good read if you are looking for some productivity book. Yes, that is the list of books that I wanted to share. It is probably one of my longest videos till date. And yes, I hope that this video has given you some insights on the importance of, probably, if you want to build a personal library, then the importance of building a personal library and the vision that you can keep, and yes, ideas about what are the books that you might want to read. I hope you've gotten it. So that is all for this video. If you did like it, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment.